It's live now.
Okay.
I see that we are live. Mayor, are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay, we're good.
All right. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Committee of the Whole. January 9th, this Tuesday, January 19, 2021. Want to take the roll, Madam Clerk?
Okay. It is 6:38 p.m. Roll call. Trustee Denton.
Present.
Trustee Steve.
Present.
Trustee House.
Present.
Trustee Brown.
Present.
Trustee Holmes.
Present.
And Trustee Henyard.
Present.
Okay, all members of the board are here. We have a quorum. What about department heads? Any department heads on? Engineer?
I do not see Mr. Smith, but I see on our list of participants several department heads in no particular order. Chief Mobley, Deputy Chief Rush, and guess, I know I'm missing some folks. Superintendent Stacy, Samisha Williams from Licenses and Permits so far, and
Okay.
guess.
All right. Okay, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which
it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Trustee Brown, you want to lead us in prayer tonight?
Good evening, Father God. May you bless us with a successful board meeting tonight, and hope it ends on time. We ask these things in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
What's on time? Okay.
1 hour tops.
Amen.
All right, amen. Any announcements, Madam Clerk?
I have none.
Okay. The administrator's report.
Mayor, I have announcements.
Okay, Trustee Henry.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. I have an update for our Dolton COVID numbers as follows. Please, whatever you guys do, make sure you still continue to wash your hands, wear your face mask, and practice social distancing, please. I know that restrictions are being lifted, but you guys need to know that's still very, very important. 27,624 people have been tested. Total number of cases in Dolton is 1,558. We have 128 new cases reported since January 4th of 2021. These numbers that I'm reciting tonight is from the Illinois Department of Public Health. My next thing is I just want to report that I am so happy to report that I gave gas away, and it was a huge success over the weekend. My heart is filled with so much joy, and I'm extra happy to help you guys during these challenging times. Please keep your head up and remember that Trustee Tiffany Henyard will always take care of the people first, no matter what. So if you ever need me, please reach out, 708-963-2137. Again, 708-963-2137 is my cell phone. My next question is, Mayor, to you, why wasn't my event posted? I see you posted yours when you stated last board meeting, and I quote, my event is not going up on the website, but yet it's plastered over all social media outlets within the village of Dolton. So that's my question to you. And my last statement, well, I pause for my answer. Can you respond to that?
I have no answer, Trustee. for that?
Okay, well, that's for the record, Mary Kay, because the last board meeting, I asked for you guys to post my event, and the mayor stated that he wasn't posting his own, but yet it was over everything in the village of Dolton. I always try to put the information out so the residents can benefit. So hopefully whoever's watching this, you did benefit over the weekend. You can always follow me or call me if you need any help. Save the date. Free COVID testing, January 31st at Abundant Living Church, which is located at 14540 Lincoln in Dolton between the hours of 1 to 3 p.m. There will be a limit of 200 tests. So please register. No, registration is preferred, but not required. This is a FDA approved rapid test. Results in 10 minutes, guys, 10 minutes. You'll know if you have COVID or had COVID. And also PPE supplies will be given out as well. Again, free COVID testing, January 31st at Abundant Living, located at 14540 Lincoln in Dolton between the hours of 1 and 3 p.m. You guys, please call 708-963-2137. Again, 708-963-2137 if you would like to join us on the free COVID testing, which is a Sunday, January 31st. Thank you, guys. Please stay safe. End of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Henry.
Excuse me, Mayor, can I be recognized? Just 2 announcements.
Go ahead, Trustee.
Mary Kay will have all the information for a committee meeting that will be on the 22nd. She'll get that out to you once we get the information to her tomorrow. Then also Saturday at about 10 o'clock, I will be distributing PPE equipment, hand sanitizer. So if you need any, the address is 14200 King Drive, 14200 King Drive, Saturday at 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, any more announcements? Okay, next thing on the agenda is administrator's report.
Hi, good evening. I have 2 items on my report. The first one is I worked with Ed Rudd, who is the Geographic Information Systems Manager at Robinson Engineering. We began working on this about a year ago. Ed, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we got together about a little over a year ago on this. So what it is, it's an economic development web app. And a lot of the other towns use it. I know University Park uses it, South Holland, Mattison, Country Club Hills. Did I say Calumet, University Park, Calumet City? So what it is it's an amazing app. It goes on our Village of Dolton page. We can actually list all of the available properties in the village, including village-owned properties. It actually is very detailed. It shows the zoning for the property, the square footage for the property. We can add as much information as we'd like. I think it's a great tool because we get a lot of calls from people from outside of the state that are interested in purchasing property. And I think it would be a great tool also if we put together some type of housing program. We can also list that on the app. So you can take a look at other websites, like I said, South Holland, Calumet City, Mattison uses it, University Park, and I believe Robinson Engineering actually put that together as well. Is that correct, Ed?
We put the one for University Park together, yes.
So if you could just give a brief presentation, and I would like to just show the board the app and how amazing it is and all of the things that the app can actually do for the village.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here and let me know when you see it. It says host, okay. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Sure, give me 1 second. I thought Khalil Hogan was first, so let me switch it off of that one and then I'll switch it to Mr. Rudd.
Okay.
Khalil Hogan, are you on the call right now?
He is on.
Yes.
Okay, I switched the capability for you. I thought your presentation was first. Are you able to hit the 3 dots to transfer it back and then I can get it to Mr. Rudd?
Let's see, where do I do that? Under the share screen section?
Yeah, there should be
No.
3 dots. Like a blue square with 3 dots to switch the hosting back.
Sorry about that, Giovanni.
It's okay, no problem.
See, I don't see the blue square. Let me see if I can find that.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'll switch it back to now.
Let's see. How do I?
Okay, so
that
Edward
work?
Rudd is able to share his screen now. Yes, it's working now.
All right. Okay, can you see that? It says Village of Dalton available sites.
Yes.
Okay, so brief explanation. It's kind of a combination of a web map and a web page, and the two are linked. So the left side has information on it, and then the right side will show the location of the available site. If you'll notice over here, these buttons on the side, each one of these is an available site. So for instance, you can click on this one here, and it starts bringing the information. It zooms to the location on the map, and then it's got information from the realtor and other information over here. So for instance, there's also a brochure that they can open up if you click this link here, and it's got more details about that particular site. So I put as much information on there that I could find from realtors and other sources, and it's got a little summary here on this one with the price and all of this type of thing. There's also some additional information on the dialog box in the map area. It's got the PIN number and things like that. So we split it up. You'll notice that the tab at the top shows commercial. So we split it into commercial, industrial, some incentive zones, the zoning map, and places of interest. So the first two are basically the same, just different categories, okay? So if someone's looking for an industrial site, he would hit that tab and then bring up the information for that particular one. So we also thought it would be nice to show incentive zones so that they would have an idea of those type of things if they're going to bring their business into town. And in this case, we included the TIF districts as well as the enterprise zone. So you can scroll down a little bit in this window here, and you can click on the TIF. It zooms to it, gives you some information about it over here on the right, and the same with TIF 3. There's also a enterprise zone. It's the Calumet Enterprise Zone, and I have a little information about that as well. And then there's another brochure over here that they can open up to get print out some details about it. So these are the types of things that developers search for. So if it's all in one spot, it would be much easier for them. The other thing would be zoning. So we put the current zoning information here on this tab, and basically anywhere you click in on the map, it'll tell you the zoning information and what it means. So R3, one family dwelling district, and so forth, wherever you click. So they can check the zoning out basically anywhere. The color coding legend is over here on the left. And then the only other thing we thought might be of interest to a developer are, places of interest like municipal buildings and, schools, things like that, ambulance services, police department, assisted living, so that they can get a general feel of the community. So that's my quick version, and I tried to keep it, relatively quick. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Is it Houston, Mr. Houston?
Edward Rudd.
Edward Rudd, Mr. Rudd, I apologize. Who maintains the app?
Robinson Engineering is maintaining the app.
Okay,
But
and
we intend it to be like a hyperlink on your website so they could go right to it.
okay. And how often is it updated?
You know, it's really updated at your discretion. Like if a property is no longer available, we can get rid of it. Or if there's more properties to add, we can add those properties.
So we have to interact with you to give you the available properties?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the cost of maintaining it?
Well, the maintenance is kind of like a variable. If there's like one site to add, or if there's 10 sites to add. So we don't really have a cost set for that right now.
And when I spoke with Ron from Robinson Engineering to get the price, it's approximately $6,000.
To set up the app?
To set up the app, and he said it's not going to be much of anything to maintain it. It's the initial price is just the $6,000. It's like $5,000 some dollars. I don't have the exact amount in front of me, but that's to get all of this up and running and put on our webpage. And then Ron said, as we get properties, we can just send them over the information and they pull up the specs, and anything that we want added, they can do that additionally, add any additional information that we'd like on the site.
I got a question, Mayor.
Go ahead, Trustee.
I know that we had voted on something like this in the past in housing. Do we still have that software or program? Whereas if a person had a vacant property, they had to come and fill out a vacant affidavit. And then also it went into a system that's supposed to have been uploaded. Do we still have that or no?
May I be recognized?
Go ahead.
We have ProChamps, and ProChamps records the vacant properties. And so they send me a list monthly to let me know what properties have registered their vacancy. And ProChamps also reaches out, and they have to pay ProChamps. I think it's once every 6 months or something like that. But I have a list, and so I get a list monthly of the properties that are currently vacant by way of ProChamps. So that was something that was in place prior to me becoming the housing manager.
Right. Yeah, I recall. I remember it with Denise Fields. My question is, do your program not do the same as this? Because
Well, technically, it's not my program. So one is a registration, and that's what ProChamps does. So we eliminated the part of them, of landlords and property managers bringing the application and everything to us. They automatically go through ProChamps because they have to fulfill the registration of their property to say that it's vacant. And they go out and make sure that it's vacant. They have people that go out and check different addresses and locate exactly who it belongs to, the bank and all that other type of stuff. And they reach out to them to make sure that they can collect. And then the village gets, their portion of it. So that's pretty much how that goes. I mean, I get the notification every month to let me know what properties have been registered as vacant. If anybody has any questions about it, or if it has to be something in error, then I have the link to make sure that we make the correction. But other than that, I just get the list every month. So
Is that both residential and commercial properties?
As of right now, I get the residential listing. I don't know anything about the commercial part.
Yeah, this one's primarily commercial, so.
Okay.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, just to distinguish, what I'm seeing in front of me is commercial and industrial. What Sharon has just described are residential properties that are vacant. That does not mean they are available for sale. Sharon, correct me if I'm understanding.
No, that's right, because what happens is a bank will hold on to a property still. So if they decide to hold on to that property until they decide to release it for sale, they still register the vacant property.
So ProChamps is strictly a registration of vacant properties, not necessarily those available for sale, and residential only.
Correct.
Okay. So do ProChamps have an app as well?
I don't know.
No, they do not, Trustee. This is a different component. So the component with ProChamps is just the registration to notify us of the vacant residential. This is to showcase the properties that are for sale that are commercial and industrial for economic development purposes.
Right, I get the difference, but I guess my question is, have we contacted ProChamps to see if they do both? Or did we just sign up for residential only, or do they do commercial as well? My thing is, I don't want to pay for something twice. If we already have the software, why aren't we utilizing them to do both? It was my question. If they can't, then I'm all for upgrading or going to another company to do commercial.
Yeah,
So I guess maybe somebody can find that out for me.
Yeah, no, they don't have, this is a software to post our listings for industrial and commercial properties. They don't have the software component to put this on. We're not getting rid of ProChamps. This is a little bit different because this is just to list and showcase the commercial and industrial so people know what we have that's available. Like if, for example, you're trying to bring business to Dolton, you can look on this site and say, these are the sites that are available. This is what it's zoned for. You know, right off the top, okay, we can't put a restaurant here because it's zoned for industrial. That's what this is for. The ProChamps is just for a residential registration to let us know this home is vacant, but they do not have anything to do. They don't have software where they can list the properties on our page. And not necessarily do we get all of the information back for ProChamps. Am I correct, Sharon? Sometimes it'll say that the property is vacant and we may go out, send Public Works out when they're doing water shutoffs, and they send us back a confirmation email with a list. And sometimes they'll say, this isn't vacant. Or
Right, because if a landlord or just a personal owner, they'll get a notification or a card notification in the mail from ProChamps that says we have registered your property as vacant. They also have a link as well as a telephone number to contact them to notify them of the error, and then they'll remove it from their vacant property list. So when they do that, that just updates it. And they usually try to send that list by the 15th of every month. So that way, if something has changed or if we notice a difference, or like I said, it's just about vacant property registration. The majority of the time, the banks have the properties, or it's listed as vacant by whatever realty company is holding that property until they're ready to put it up for sale.
Okay, Elizabeth, my question is for us to utilize this app. Why would we utilize it if a person can go on MLS and see whatever properties we have available in the village of Dolton?
so we don't,
Now,
everything that's available isn't necessarily on the MLS. So this is a way for us to showcase our properties that may not be listed on the MLS with a realtor. Some of the properties in Dolton are not necessarily listed with a realtor. Also, there's also zoning issues. Also, we have vacant land. So that stuff won't necessarily be listed on the MLS.
So you saying it's more geared towards what properties the village have available for
This
sale?
is geared towards just economic development, to spur economic development for them to see certain properties that are available with the village that may not be listed on the MLS. Some of them will be listed on the MLS, which then they can click and see that it is available through a broker, realtor, and they can click on the link, actually contact the broker directly. You know, you could steer them, or you could even look on there yourself and see what it's zoned for. And you can say this building's vacant. For example, we've had people come and tell us they want to open up a business or a cannabis, grow house area, and they ask where are the available areas. So now we can just send them to our village page. They can actually click and see the areas that are zoned for that.
I want to say something. I know I've done some work in University Park, and I know University Park has this same software, and it streamlines it. It's actually interesting when you click on it, and you can click around to see what's open, what's not open, what is on. It just streamlines it and it puts it in one place. So it's real convenient if you're an entrepreneur wanting to invest in a certain town, that you can click on it and see what's open.
Right, they can get a lot of information all in one spot. Like I didn't even show you guys, like I have a link on each one of these sites. If you hit this hyperlink, it'll take you directly to the county assessors for that particular parcel without having to go ask and find out, additional information. So
You can pull
it's a lot of
information.
Yeah, so it's a lot of information all in one spot so to hopefully to entice the development.
Okay, any further? Any more questions?
Yes, Mayor. So, y'all gonna get a price together, or do y'all know it's $6,000?
Yes, it is. I can get you the exact price, trustee. I don't have it in front of me, but it was around 6,000. It may have been 5,800 something, but I'll get you the exact amount.
Okay, but that's just the setup. So how much is it to keep the app? Is it a monthly bill or what?
No,
is
it's
that?
not a monthly bill. It's as we, add properties, it might be a couple $100, but I will get the exact price for you for both of those.
Okay, and what you just said is what I want to know. So is it per property? We pay them, say, for instance, $100 and we take $100? Like, I want to know that kind of structure.
No, so we are not actually, this isn't for the sale. We're not actually brokering it. It's just pretty much telling the person, these are the available properties if you're interested. And like I said, some of them will be on the page. It's not necessarily us selling it. It might be a realtor, it might be the bank, but they can actually look at the information, see if they're interested. And like Ed said, everything's streamlined. You can actually just click on it. You can pull up the property taxes, the PIN number, everything. So you can click on it and it takes you straight to the Cook County Assessor's Office. It gives you the square footage. It'll tell you what it's zoned for. So it's good. And then sometimes we get calls and we don't know the answers to all of that. They'll say, how much are the property taxes on this? What is it zoned for? And we have to say, hey, let me take down your information. We'll have to look it up. Mary Kay has to go up, look up the PIN number. And sometimes, people, it gets lost in translation. This way also, if someone is in California, they can look this up. They can look up the property, the square footage. I know that, like I said, Matheson uses this in a lot of other towns and they're happy with it. They've gotten some good feedback. And I think it would help to just to further just spur economic development and get some more businesses in town.
Yeah. Now, I do like it. Don't get me wrong. It sounds great, actually. I just want to make sure we wasn't double spending. That's why I was asking all those questions. So y'all cleared it up a lot, but now I'm just concerned about is there any more fees is why I was saying $100. So once we get the app and we pay $6,000, is that annually amounts? That I want to know that kind of stuff. We just got the app and it's forever and we don't pay any more money. So
I'll
that's
get
my
all the
question.
information, but the 6,000 is a one-time fee to put this on our page.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm going to stop sharing it right now.
Okay.
You're welcome, Liz.
And thank you, trustee. Okay, and I have one more thing that I would like to talk about. So I met recently, actually, we had a Zoom meeting with CMAP, also Leslie Feemster. Hey, Jen, from SSMMA, South Suburban Mayors and Managers, and Maggie Jar, she's a senior planner for Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. And some of you may or may not know, we've worked with them for some other development in the community. One thing is the LNA comprehensive plan, which we're going to be starting in the next few months, getting that going. So we have an updated comprehensive plan. We actually won that grant for that, so we won't be paying for that. The other thing is they have worked with us with the quiet zones and other projects, STP projects that I'm working on now with SSMMA. So they collaborate with us. And what we were discussing was some of the infrastructure and transportation projects that we really need funded. And they have a new ROI program, which is Resource Opportunity and Impact Program. And it's for communities that need funding and need help funding. And they also will help us to go for grants and different things like that. So I will have Maggie, if you're on, she can further explain and go into detail about the program.
So Maggie had a different board meeting tonight, Stock Village, that she's presenting at. So I'll be presenting for you, but thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit about this program. I'm excited to be here and I hope you all will partner with us. So I also need to share my screen if I can have that ability. Okay, great. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Pretty colorful.
Give me 1 second. I lost control. All right, so my name's Jen Maddox. I'm a planner at CMAP. I work closely with Maggie Jar, who's kind of leading this program for all the municipalities, and I will be the planner who will be working with Elizabeth and you all throughout the length of this program. So this is just a short presentation, just to give you an idea, a little bit of expansion on what Elizabeth just said. So for those of you that aren't familiar with CMAP, we are this entire region's comprehensive planning organization. We work in the entire 7-county area, and the primary position of CMAP is to create a long-term transportation and land use plan for the whole region. So we adopted that about 2 years ago, and since we adopted the long-range plan, we've been developing some new types of technical assistance. And these are aimed specifically at building local government capacity and supporting local plan implementation. And, you know, Elizabeth mentioned that you're all in queue for a comprehensive plan update. And I just want to clarify that this project is completely separate scope from that. But we're hoping that what we learned here will feed into at least the transportation component of that comprehensive plan. So one of the new initiatives is called ROI, Resource Opportunity and Impact. It's a 6-month program, and CMAP staff are planning to assist communities in identifying needed transportation projects, strategizing how to get them funded, and navigating different transportation investment programs. The program has 3 main goals. First, we want to establish consensus with you all on priority transportation projects and determine the next steps for implementation for each of those. The second goal is to build the capacity of municipal staff and village board members to apply for and manage funding in the future. And the third goal is to really get transportation projects that are ready to go into the pipeline for external funding. Some of the outcomes that we're hoping for by the end of the 6-month program, each municipality that we're working with will produce a prioritized list of transportation projects and a clear strategy for how to get those implemented. We're also going to work with you to help execute different grant-related activities. This could be establishing procedures for applying for grants and managing them. We can provide different staff trainings, or possibly just actually help in preparing the actual applications, or just coordinating work that you all have on existing grants. And finally, we hope that this program is just going to create strong communication between CMAP, the village, SSMMA, Cook County, and other partners, just to pursue different funding opportunities as they arrive. Sorry. And as Elizabeth said, we met last week to talk a little bit about this program. And tonight we're asking the board to consider a resolution authorizing an MOU with CMAP to partner in this. And I'll just note now that there's no monetary cost to the village for participating. We just ask for a little bit of your time over the next 6 months. So once that agreement is executed, then we can go ahead and get started. And that initial work is just going to be talking to you all to figure out what your priorities are, and working with village staff to kind of put together the other components of the product that we'll be developing. And that was pretty brief, but I'll open it up to questions now if you've all got any.
Any questions, anyone?
Once we confirm the agreement, how long would it take before we actually get involved?
You know what, we can unofficially get started before the agreement's signed, but we just want to get that in our hand officially as soon as possible. But I'm already starting to get familiarized with the village a little bit, so I'm already starting. But yeah, the agreement just makes it official.
I'm sure we will be as well too. We can definitely use any kind of assistance that's possible.
Right on. I'm happy to hear it.
Okay, well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm probably going to reach out to you next week. We can set up another Zoom meeting and figure out, how we're going to just start running.
Perfect. Yeah, I look forward to it. I've got a strategy in mind, but yeah, let's check in and we'll get this going.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is the renewal of our Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Mr. Hogan, are you there?
I'm here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see if this works. Oh, it says the host disabled participant screen sharing. I need to get the access back. There we go. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, let's try
Well,
this.
while we're trying to get that, I just wanted to introduce Khalil Hogan. He's the Principal Director of Operations for Vista National Insurance, which is our insurance for the employees in the village of Dolton, as well as the board and the mayor. This is something that we do every year. We have to renew the insurance. This is not switching brokers. I just wanted to add that because we did have Vista National when we had our prior broker. So this is just something we have to do as far as renewing the insurance and getting approval from the board. We're going to start our renewal process for the employees, the board, this coming February. Janice is the one who usually handles all of the intake for the forms for the village. So they have a presentation with price comparisons with some other companies. So Khalil, you can take it away.
Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. Let me see if I can get this to move here. All right, now we're having some, there we go. Okay. So we're going to quickly review the information you see on the agenda here. Vista National Services, a reminder of our claims concierge service, which helps assist employees of the village and their dependents with any claim issues they have with any of the employee benefits that we handle, medical, dental, vision, etc. We have an executive summary of your plans. We have the marketing overview. We have some new features we're really excited about sharing with you. We're going to talk about very briefly as well, which is going to be some assistance with HR related functions, as well as an online enrollment platform that will be executed and rolled out in the next few months so that new hires and open enrollment can be done electronically moving forward as opposed to using paper. We think this will be a very effective way to communicate benefits and to streamline the process, especially as we are in this age of COVID and going forward. Open enrollment, and then certainly answer any questions you have as well as we go through this presentation. So this is just a quick brochure of our concierge service. This is what we provide during our open enrollment. Again, it shows what the program does as far as helping employees and their dependents with anything benefits related, especially when it comes to assisting when bills are not getting processed or paid correctly by the insurance carriers. Members get caught in the middle. We get involved and help straighten it out on their behalf. And we have a free mobile app that they can download on their iPhone, their Android or tablet to access us via the app as well as our toll-free number. So the overview of your renewal information, Blue Cross came out initially with an increase of 7.7%. That was an increase of over $132,000 in premium based on your current enrollment and plan elections. Through the negotiations of Vista National with Blue Cross, we were able to get them down to a 0 increase or a no change in rates. In addition to that, we secured a $50,000 one-time credit that will appear on your either your March or your April billing statement from Blue Cross. So overall, we have a reduction in total premium for the upcoming plan year as a result. We did complete a market survey, and we did include that in the presentation as well. The dental insurance is with Lincoln Financial. They presented a pass in rates, so a no change for the next year as well. We do have some markets that we did share that we'll go over in a little bit with some competitive information on that as well. And then for the life insurance with Blue Cross Blue Shield, they presented a rate pass with a 2-year rate guarantee. Again, we do have markets. However, we do have packaging in with Blue Cross on the medical. So because it's with the life insurance with Blue Cross, we got an additional 1% on the medical, which is what led to the no change on the health insurance increase as well. And then last but not least, you have the vision program through IMED, which is in a rate guarantee until March 1st of 2023. The next page is just a brief overview or history of your renewals from 2016 through current. The way we show this on this sheet here is you can see each year what the initial proposed renewal increase was, what the final revised renewal was after negotiations, and what the annual savings after negotiations amounted to in dollars. Anything additional as far as plan design changes would show up in the next column, and then what those credits would be, et cetera, as well. So as we go down the list, you can see from 2016 through 2021, you had an average renewal increase proposed of just under 6%. After negotiations, we're down to an increase average of 2%, 1.6%, which is an overall savings of $547,000. In addition to that, with securing some plan design changes and wellness credits, we were actually at an overall 1.04% decrease average over the last several years consecutively on average. So with industry trend around 7-8%, actually going up even higher, as high as 9% per year because of COVID. Medical trend, we are very happy with the results of this year's renewal with a no change and an additional $50,000 reduction on your billing statement. This page is a brief overview of your claim history. I think the biggest thing to pay attention to here as we look at this is looking at the time period of September of 2020 through November of 2020 and comparing that to the same time period last year. Overall, your average claim value has gone up about 9.7%. So there is an increase in your overall claims as a result of utilization. We do have information below as well on COVID-19 reporting. Due to federal mandate, the testing for COVID-19 and treatment must be covered at 100%, which means the members do not pay anything out of pocket. What we have here is an illustration of within the village, the number of people that tested for COVID-19, the dollar amounts that amounted to, the number of people that were confirmed positive, and the dollar amount for the claims that were in result of those treatments, and then the number of people who had the antibody testing and the dollars for that. So overall, roughly $40,000 in claims for COVID-19 testing and treatment. This page is a quick overview of utilization going into the period of March of 2020 through November and comparing that to the prior period of March of 2019 through November of 2019. Very quickly, you can see your membership is up on the PPO, 4.2, down on the HMO, 3.4, average age 30 on the PPO, 39.5 on the HMO. In-network utilization is very high at 99.5%. So people are using the Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO network very extensively. HMO doesn't apply because everything is the primary care doctor. Medical diagnosis top categories, neoplasms, which are cancers, musculoskeletal and mental health. On the HMO side, endocrine, respiratory, and residual unclassified. Your pharmacy information, your claims have gone down 11.8% on the PPO and up 17.8% on the HMO. Generic dispensing rate is very high, so people are opting for those generic drugs whenever possible. Almost 86% PPO, 87% HMO, and the substitution rate is also extremely high. One thing of note that we're seeing emerging within the healthcare industry is the increase in specialty pharmacy. That's the high cost medications to use to treat very rare, but expensive and very serious medical conditions. The average ingredient cost for specialty pharmacy is just over $3,800 per prescription. And you can see that's actually gone down 18% from the prior period. And those conditions are being used for pulmonary hypertension and other non-categorized conditions. The biggest thing here on the very bottom is where your dollars are being spent relative to your premiums. You have a loss ratio of 105%. The target with Blue Cross is 72.4. So for every dollar of premium, 72 cents is for claims. The rest is for administration. You're running at 105%, so you're running 33% above that target loss ratio. And that's just for the first few months in the new plan year. So this is not indicative of your renewal, but it is an indication of how things are trending. And we'll keep an eye on that as we go into your 2022 renewal for next year. This just gives you a snapshot of your surplus deficit position with Blue Cross year over year. Shows you where the claims were projected, where they actually landed year over year, and what that surplus or deficit was to Blue Cross. Overall, you're in a slight deficit of about $200,000, but because you're fully insured and you're paying premiums, you're not responsible for that deficit. Blue Cross basically is on the hook for it. Okay, so this is the financial overview of the spreadsheet page. It's kind of busy of information, but the key here that we like to always illustrate is your enrollment at the very top. You have 73 people in the PPO program, 12 in the HMO Illinois, and 22 in the Blue Advantage HMO. We did go to all the insurance carriers to market your benefits. However, we received declinations from Aetna, Cigna, and Humana. They were not competitive to the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal. We did receive one quote from United Healthcare. Very close in plan design, but they could not match exactly. So you can see there's some differences with the prescription drug card copays. They are also quoting a core network, which is a little bit smaller than the Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO network. So there is the elimination of University of Chicago as an in-network provider with United Healthcare with that program. They were coming in at a 1.2% increase, whereas with Blue Cross, again, you're down to a 0 or a no change, with an additional $50,000 credit, which gives you a reduction in your total premiums. I'm going to pause and ask if any questions before we go on, because I got to take a sip of water as well.
Khalil,
Yes.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield picked up our life insurance. Weren't we with another life insurance company?
Yeah, we moved you to, well, let's back up. You had, for a while, you had a couple different companies. You had Standard, and then you went to Dearborn National, which is owned by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross, at least in the last year, changed the name of Dearborn to Blue Cross. So it's all a Blue Cross Blue Shield product.
Okay.
I do want to make note that there is one last option on the spreadsheet here, which is a company called the Difference Card. Basically, it's a health reimbursement arrangement where you have a higher deductible, higher copays. You use this health reimbursement arrangement model underneath it so that the village is responsible for a certain number of claims that go towards the deductible and towards the higher copay amounts, so that the benefits to the member is either the same as, or in some cases better than what they have right now. This program is being offered with the company called the Difference Card, using United Healthcare as the carrier. So again, there are some benefit differences. We highlight anything that's in red is a benefit reduction. Anything in blue is a benefit enhancement. And then the black should be comparable to what you have right now. So again, not apples to apples, but very close. Actually, a little bit better when it comes to copays for office visits. Not as good when it comes to the co-insurance or out-of-pocket expenses, and good on the generic and the tier 2 drugs, but higher on the more expensive tier 3 and tier 4 drugs. However, they're projecting an overall savings of about a 16% reduction to premium, should you decide to make that change to United Healthcare with a different card as your health reimbursement model.
The other thing, Khalil, two questions. What's your recommendation in regards to utilization at 105% versus the targeted utilization at 72%?
That tells you that if you were under a self-funded program, you would have spent a lot more money than you did in premiums. So your claims are not running very well. They're definitely running higher. Again, the student utilization on the rise overall, even with COVID, when we had the lockdown and those people had a difficult time going to see their doctors, we still saw a spike in claim utilization as soon as that lockdown was lessened or loosened and people were able to go back to see their doctors. So overall, again, we're looking at going forward into the 2022 plan year. Hopefully we'll see a reduction in utilization, but nonetheless, having us as your broker consultants is effective in the fact that we can negotiate with Blue Cross based on the merits of your underwriting because of our experience and our background, to make sure that the village does not overpay in benefits and premiums. Okay. Any additional questions on the medical before I go on? Okay. The next page is the dental insurance. Again, you can see the very top just gives you some enrollment information. 109 people enrolled in the dental plan, administered through Lincoln Financial. We did go to a lot of markets. We have some uncompetitive quotes from Emeritus, Delta, MetLife, and United Healthcare. And then we have declinations from Mutual of Omaha, Principal, and Sun Life. We do have markets that quoted, you can see here below. Some are actually pretty competitive. Aetna is coming in at a 12% reduction. They do not have the rollover feature, which is why it says no in red here. The way the rollover feature works is if you don't use all of your dental benefits within the year, you can roll over a portion of your unused benefits into the subsequent years. So you can effectively build up additional dollars towards dental services being rendered. So in that year when you need a crown or bridge work or something more severe or major, your $1,000 annual benefit maximum could be, effectively doubled over time to be up to $2,000. So they don't offer that same feature. Their network is not going to be as comparable to Lincoln's, but they are coming in at a decrease of 12%, which in dollars overall to premiums, you're looking at about a $9,000 reduction in premium. Guardian is the next carrier. I'm sorry, was there a question?
Has there been any changes in the copay?
No, the benefits on the dental plan has been pretty much consistent. Again, I think the key is that rollover feature to help build up the benefits over time if you need it. But certainly if there's a concern or a need to enhance benefits or change benefits, let us know. We're more than happy to go ahead and do that.
Is there any chance of enhancing the benefits for IMED?
Division?
Yes.
Let's see. So your vision program here through IMED, you have what's called the standard 12-12-24 allowance, which basically means you can get your exam every 12 months, your lenses every 12 months, and your frames every 24 months. You do have an option to reduce the frame allowance to be able to get frames every 12 months as opposed to every 24 months. That's one enhancement you can make to your benefit program within the vision program. The co-pays are pretty standard, 10 for office or for the exam and 25 for the standard lens copay. And there's also some copays available for the tint, scratch, polybicarbonate, or progressive lenses. And all of those, I think there are some variations if you wanted to make those copays a little bit lower. You have a $130 allowance for your contact lenses and your frames. I think you can go up to 150 and maybe higher, maybe even 200. So there's some areas you can tweak if you want to see some different options on the vision program to increase that benefit. Absolutely.
Would there be an increase in the premium?
Yeah, for sure. We can look at that though if you'd like. We can see a few different options to enhance the benefits and see if that cost difference is worth the consideration to change the benefit.
Okay.
This is Trustee Brown. I have one question. Now, those copay or lens options, does that depend on which optical place you visit or not?
Good question. Yes, this is all the credit.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, good question. So this is all based on using the IMED network. So IMED has a very extensive list of both private practice optometrists as well as retail chains. So your lens crafters, your I was going to say JCPenney's. I don't know if they're still around, but there's a number of, there's a whole host of vision providers. I think Four Eyes is a part of it too, a lot of them. So as long as you're using the network of IMED, that's the benefits that are in play. If you are not, and you're going outside the network, then you have to pay out of pocket and submit a claim form. And there's a different out-of-network reimbursement schedule depending on what services you have rendered. Not going to be anywhere near as rich as what you get in network. So we always tell people, use the network for sure.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Any other questions on, I think we went, unless there's any other questions on the dental. I know we kind of went over that pretty quickly as well. It sounds like there hasn't been any negative feedback about Lincoln. So unless there's any concern, certainly there are some competitive options. The only other option I would recommend if you were going to change would be Guardian. They are a very strong dental company as well. And they're offering one option is a 2-year rate guarantee with a reduction of 6% in premiums. The other is a 1-year rate guarantee with a 13.8% reduction in total premiums. So again, the dollars on that, you're paying $77,000 a year currently. To go to Guardian with a 2-year rate guarantee, you'd save about $4,000 a year for 2 years. Or if you go with the 1-year deal, you can save basically about $11,000.
On the dental, is it an annual cleaning or a twice a year cleaning? Biannual?
Twice a year.
Okay. And is that both with, is that with Guardian also?
Yeah, that's pretty standard with all carriers. Now, again, it's very flexible. So if there's a benefit that you want to see enhanced, if you want to increase it to 3, 4, whatever you would want to see in addition to what you have now, we can certainly price it.
Okay, any further questions? All right, thanks, Khalil.
Sure. How do I turn off my screen share? Here we go.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is Trustee Brown. You're recommending that we rejoin the South Suburban Land Bank? Hello?
You're on mute, Trustee.
I know that we had spoke about the South Suburban Land Bank last year. So just wanted to bring it back up again this year, just to refresh. Also, with all the vacant properties we have, we can also utilize another program, not just South Suburban Land Bank, because I know they only deal with residential. Is it residential and commercial? And if so, we can utilize South Suburban Land Bank and another program if anyone is interested in bringing another program about. But just thought we could bring them back to the village, since we are one of the only municipalities that's not utilizing the South Suburban Land Bank.
I would have no objection. I would have no objection to that, but I'd like to create our own housing program also in regards to the sale of vacant houses.
That's fine, man.
Yeah.
Any other trustee want to chime in?
Sure. Trustee Henyard, as the board know, I created a program 2 years ago called Block by Block program, and that's to put all the vacant properties on the tax roll. I will hope you guys would consider that program. It's already vetted through. We voted on it. It's in our bylaws. So if you are okay with us having a housing meeting and entertaining that, that would be great. I know the people helped create the program, and I know they did want it and still do. So if we can do that, I would love to start.
Okay, maybe we can get together.
That'll work.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda, John, are you on? Attorney Murphy? Attorney Murphy?
I'm here.
Okay. Good to see you.
I'm trying to cover 2 meetings at once, sorry.
Okay. You want to update us on the Sibley TIF?
Yes, board members, you'll recall that we're in the process of establishing this property as a TIF district in order to fulfill the settlement agreement from federal court with the developer, and also to stimulate the economic development of the area. In listening to the presentation from Robinson, this would be a property that would be ideal to be put on that list once we establish the TIF. We've got the updated eligibility study from the consultant. I've got the ordinance drafted, so we're in a position to pass the preliminary ordinance, which gets the ball rolling. In order to establish the TIF district, the village has to give a lot of notices out. We have to have a public hearing and give public notice for that. We also have to schedule and hold 1 or more what are called joint review board hearings. And joint review board hearings are hearings and meetings with every other taxing body in the area, at which point we explain the reasons why this property is eligible for TIF treatment. So that would include the local taxing bodies, the 2 school districts, township and the like, as well as the large bodies, park district. So that there are multiple hearing notices that have to go out, but we're ready to start. And the process itself to establish the TIF district probably takes approximately 60 days because of all the built-in notices. Please also recall that our goal was to make sure we had the exemption in place that got this property exempt by way of village ownership in order to maximize the future tax revenues, which would be available to incentivize a developer. So things are timing out fine. So my recommendation is that we put on the board agenda what I'm going to call the initial ordinance or the kickoff ordinance. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, okay, you can see me. Hi. Hey, Murphy, how you doing?
Hey, good evening.
Hey, my question is, so once we vote on the TIF, say next board meeting, and then what happens next? Can you just walk us through the steps?
Yes, we have to have 2 separate public hearing processes. One, as I mentioned, is the joint review board process, where we have to send out notices to all of the taxing bodies, including copies of the proposed TIF plan. And then we have to have meetings with them to explain why this property is eligible for TIF. So that process takes generally 45 days between sending the notices out, scheduling the meetings. I just did this for another municipality where we were a little bit impaired because of COVID, obviously, and the ability to get everybody together via Zoom. But now that more people are used to it, we should have that handled. So that's process 1, what's called joint review board, which is all the taxing bodies. Then a separate process is public hearing. The public hearing comes after we've finished the joint review board process. What the joint review board is, make a recommendation to the village board that this property does or does not qualify as TIF. And I'm hopeful we'll be able to demonstrate to the taxing bodies that this property does qualify for TIF. They issue an advisory recommendation. After that comes in, we have a regular public hearing with newspaper notice and opportunity for anybody in the public to weigh in on the prospect of the TIF. Let me mention one thing. The eligibility is separate from any particular development deal. We have to get the TIF in place after these public hearings. So process 1, joint review board. Process 2, public hearing. After the public hearing closes, then we adopt the TIF approval ordinances. So all in probably 60 to 75 days.
Who do this go before? You said review board. Who is that?
Yes, the joint review board, we have to send a notice to all of the taxing bodies, the big guys and the little guys, everybody on the tax bill.
Okay.
They will have a meeting. So it's a meeting that consists of the village, all the taxing bodies, what's called a public member. And at this meeting, and it's not a public meeting. I mean, it's open to the public, but it's not a regular public hearing. It's at which time we make a presentation to all of the other taxing body representatives, explaining the history of the property, why it needs TIF treatment, and to answer any questions they have about why we want this property to be TIF. Because remember, when property is TIF, that limits future tax revenues that might go to the other taxing bodies. So we have an explaining job to do. So that's the joint review board part. Any questions on that?
I got it. I wrote it down.
And then after that, then we have the regular public hearing. And that would be like we've had other public hearings with the board. The board as a whole would conduct public hearing. Typically, these joint review board meetings are done in the day because for the most part, the school officials will send their business manager, their finance director, that sort of thing. So it's usually it's a staff level presentation. The public hearing will be in the course of a board meeting. And under the, excuse me, under the TIF law, we have to wait at least 2 weeks after the public hearing in order to pass the TIF ordinances. So we passed the TIF ordinances. There's 3 typical ordinance, one defining what's called the redevelopment project area, which is essentially that area over there in that part of town, and then approving the TIF plan. Once we get those ordinances adopted, then I take them down to the county clerk's office to file them. When we file them with the county clerk's office, then the county clerk knows that going forward, future property tax bills, means that any future development, that money, that property tax revenue will get captured and go into the TIF to help incentivize hopefully a retail developer. We had the grocery guy make a presentation a few months ago. So, but the goal of the village is to get a solid sales tax producer at that location.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Yeah, Trustee Holmes, I have one. Attorney Murphy, just for the record, the residents will have an input on this.
Oh, yes, there's a specific public hearing, a specific notice requirement to people. Andrew, I think it's in like a 250-foot radius. So people in the immediate vicinity would get actual notice, a letter notice from us. Now, that area, it's not particularly a residential area, but in any event, anybody in the public would have the right to weigh in on this matter at the public hearing. So,
Go ahead, sir.
And the public hearing is after the joint review board meeting. So we're talking 60 to 75 days, but we have to give a formal newspaper notice, post it on our webpage, post a TIF plan on our webpage. And then when the public hearing happens at the board meeting, maybe we're at the point where we can actually do this stuff in person. There'll be full public opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just want to make sure the residents of Dolton are aware and have much input in on this too. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Attorney Murphy.
Welcome.
Now, okay, you want to stay on?
I've got the next item.
Yes, go ahead.
The next item is status and update and proposed settlement of what we're calling the BP Capital lawsuit. Please recall that in May of 2019, the village terminated the agreement with BP Capital. Prior to termination of the agreement, BP had obtained deeds and transferred property for approximately 80 separate properties in Dolton. The properties, there's approximately, I'm going to say 14 to 15 houses that that BP entered into an agreement with a potential future developer. We got the judicial deed, but the village hadn't transferred that judicial deed as of the date we terminated the agreement. So for the most part, there were at least 80 properties that the final transfer was made to speculators from the village through BP. These were the ones that kind of got that were caught in the transition. We've taken the position that because the village terminated the agreement in May and the transfer hasn't been completed yet to the potential developer, we have some rights involved here. Now, we've gone back and forth on these properties. There's a lot of the people who have we've been working with and negotiating with and against are individuals who have actually spent money rehabbing these properties. The village gave permits to allow these these developers to renovate. So these are kind of whether you want to call it caught in the switches or lame ducks or the ones caught in transition. Our position is that we deserve money from this if you want these transactions to be completed. So we've negotiated with the BP, the original developer, but really for the most part with two end users, one named Zaslow, Z-A-S-L-O-W, and one named Accurate, but they're controlled by the same individual. And we've worked out a tentative agreement that we're recommending, and that agreement would involve payment of $20,000 per property to the village. $10,000 would be paid immediately.
Per unit.
I'm sorry, yes, 20,000 per property. 10,000 would be paid immediately. The other 10 would be paid at such time as the developer, meaning the developer sells that property to an end user, meaning an end homeowner. And we'll be able to collect that second $10,000 quite easily because they have to come to us for transfer stamps. So
meanwhile, John, we will put a lien on the property to make sure that we get the final payment per unit.
oh yes, our agreement will be recorded and that will operate as a lien. And we've also got the extra security that the title companies will not allow the transfer without village transfer stamps. So they're going to have to come to us for that second 10, but the first $10,000 per property is will be paid immediately once we finish the agreement. Let me mention that there's another, so this involves about 7 properties. There's another 7 properties in this position owned by a different developer, or that a different developer has a claim on. We've not entered into any negotiations with them, but by establishing this, we've set a market for village participation in these properties. And, it's, what is it, water over the bridge, over the dam or under the bridge, but with a market of $20,000 per property going to the municipality, you can understand perhaps the lost opportunity resulting from that original BP deal where 80 houses went out the door. And if we'd gotten 20 for each of those, that's $1,600,000. But in any event, these are the last couple dozen or so stragglers. Then if we lock in the deal with BP on this and their end users, it's the end users who are going to pay the money for this other developer. Mayor, I don't remember the name of the other developer, but he's the one who built in Burnham and a couple of the other towns.
I can't recall, but his name, but of course I had a meeting with him, and as we're discussing right now, the deal that we've negotiated with the 2 companies that's controlled by the same party, they wanted to stand fast and say, no, we don't want to give you anything. But in this case, we were able to negotiate with those 7 houses at $20,000 a piece. It brings the revenue, immediate revenue of $70,000 to the village, and upon their sale, another $70,000, which is $140,000 that the village will realize in revenue.
And we set the market for this other guy.
Yes. So I'm asking this board to stand fast on the negotiations that we're presenting tonight, so we'll have some type of guideline in regards to our negotiations with the second party.
This agreement that we're finishing up has to be voted on by the board. So the plan is to get it finalized up and presented to the board at the that first meeting in February.
Which once this agreement is in place, we'll get the immediate downstroke of money for those houses.
That's correct.
May I be recognized?
Yeah. Let me just reiterate one thing. Most of these BP properties are out the door. They were conveyed by the village under the agreement to these various developers before the termination in May of 2019. There were probably 35 or 40, Mary Kay, you can jump in here, that you had to process the last week before the May of 2019 date.
Yeah, they accelerated their their aggressiveness to obtain those houses before the agreement was dissolved.
Yes, Mayor, if I may confirm, between the election of the new Board of Trustees, primary and general election in February and March of 2019, and when the board took over in May of 2019, approximately half of those properties were accelerated so that BP could take title and convey them out.
And one of the guidelines that we used in regarding to negotiating the $20,000 per house was the fact that we had a developer that was interested in giving us $20,000 per house on those vacant houses, and which we would have realized, as Attorney Murphy said, at least $1.6 million where we didn't get any money at all. And I might add that those houses that were conveyed to BP Capital was almost a cream of the crop. They kind of cherry picked the properties that they wanted. It took very little rehab in houses that they could sell. And they actually sold houses prior to them getting the titles conveyed to them. They sold them to these speculators and investors, and the investors started doing work on those houses before they were actually entitled to do the work on the house, before they actually owned the houses.
Maybe recognize.
Go ahead, Trustee.
The money that we get from these BP Capital House, would that go, I guess is a question for Chris, will it go right into the general fund?
Sure. Yeah, it's unrestricted. It'd be unrestricted money, wherever you want to put it.
Wherever you want to put it.
Yeah, it would be up to the board if they wanted to add any additional restrictions, but based on what's being discussed right now, it would be unrestricted money that would go straight into the general fund to fund general operations.
Okay, I got a question here.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to know, Attorney Murphy, protocol as relates to lawsuits. Why are we doing this openly? Normally we go in closed session, talk about any pending litigations, and right now we're talking about it in the open. Why is that?
Well, we could have gone into closed session. I didn't see that there was any big secret about this one.
No, it's no secret. I'm talking about protocol, Robert Rules of Order, what we normally do.
It's not Robert's Rules of Order. And the board has the right, but not the obligation to go into closed session. And we thought it made more sense, since this has been a important issue, that, there's no secrets.
Oh, no. It's not about a secret, because we got to still come out and vote on it. So my question to you is that we just did it so openly. We never do that, never have. So I'm just a little concerned of why we're doing it now in the open. That's all. It's out there.
It's out, Trustee Henyard, I think it depends on case by case. Let's say we had a lawsuit, a police shooting case or something like that, and that was getting ready to go to trial. And I had to bring the board up, like we had that shooting case a year or two ago. Remember, at the Shell station? And I brought the board into closed session to bring them up to date on that case, that it was getting ready to go to trial. We wouldn't want to talk strategy in an open session about that. This case is in my mind a lot different, because it doesn't involve strategizing or going back and forth like that.
It is, because normally you guys ask us our opinion, then we negotiate whether it's pricing of how much, or what we disagree or agree with it. So we're gonna do all that in the open. All I'm saying is that we never done this for anyone else. So you put these people business out there without talking to your board first and going back and forth on pricing or however much we think it should be or should not be. That's all. That's for the record, Mary Kay. And my other question is, you said there's another person with properties as well, because you said this person has 7. How many does the other developer have?
About a half dozen, 6 or 7, that are in the same timing situation.
So basically, that person has not came before the board and negotiated a price. So we finna show our hand and say we're gonna give them 20 per house. So what does that mean? We gotta give this other person?
We're not giving, we're taking.
Okay, well, that's the agreement. We're taking $20,000 from them for property. So we're gonna do the same for the next developer?
That would be my recommendation. It's a fair payment to be made to the village to allow to allow the village, remember what these lawsuits are all about. The village basically allowed attorney Tony Bass to go into court on behalf of the village to get what's called a judicial deed to wipe out the back taxes. That's value to these developers, and they should pay for that value. We found out during the course of the litigation that Mr. Bass got paid $5,000 per property. 5,000. Multiply that by 80.
And the village didn't get anything.
0.
Okay. So why are you agreeing to pay? Well, for them to sell the properties, I guess these are the contractors, correct?
It's the contractors we're dealing with, not really with BP. These are the contractors who want to get, some of them who've started the work.
So do they own the house?
They don't own the house. The deeds are still in our name. That's what we've been negotiating. Under what circumstances will we convey the deeds from the village to them, to the contractors?
Okay, so basically, let me make sure I got it right. You are suggesting that we let the contractor finish the work, put the property up for sale, sell the property, like say $100,000, and they will get 80 and we will get $20,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And
No, John. No, that's not correct.
It's 10 and 10.
Correct. You said $20,000, right?
Yeah.
We're actually selling the houses to the contractor for $20,000 each.
Well, that's right. It's the same number though.
We are selling the house to the contractor for $20,000 each. If the contractor wants to sell it for 60, that's his problem. If he wants to sell it for 150, that's his problem. But we're getting $20,000 before that house is before the sale of the house is completed.
Yeah, it's not a trustee. It's not a percentage deal.
No.
Okay, so now my other question is, how did you guys come up with the 20,000? Like, say if it's a house and they're gonna make 150, 200,000 off of them. Just making up numbers. I'm just saying. How did you guys come up with each house at 20K? Each house cannot be worth the same value.
That was the product of negotiation where they started at 0, and we worked them up to 20 a property.
Did you go see any of these properties, Attorney Murphy?
Over the summer, I did, yeah.
So is any of them fair condition?
I'm just a lawyer. Never went inside any of them.
Okay,
But,
so how you?
What I do know is this: that had these contractors spent money inside these houses, having been given permits from the village of Dolton. One of the factors that both sides looked at is maybe they could win the case and be entitled to force us to give the deeds to them with 0 payment. And that's what the negotiation was all about.
Okay. Well, my recommendation is to check the properties out before you guys put a number on it. It seemed like you just made up numbers. We don't even know what we got in the inventory for you to say 20 per house. They could make $300,000 off one house, and we not know it. Okay, I know you're selling it for a flat fee of $20,000. That's what you're telling me right now.
Trustee Henry.
I'm saying check the properties out. That's what I'm saying. That's my suggestion. That's Trustee Henry's vote. How about that?
Okay.
Check the properties out, because you guys just put can I finish, Mayor?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. You guys just put a price tag on the property, and no one seems to know what it looks like, what we're giving away, just to close the deal. My thing is more of the facts of it.
Trustee Henry, we went from 0, and we had a developer when you guys voted on giving BP Capital the houses for 0, we had a developer that offered $20,000 per house. And that was he wasn't just going to take the houses that were the cream of the crop. He was going to take every house, houses that need to be demolished, houses that couldn't be rehabbed. He was going to pay us $20,000 per house. We wound up getting 0 and having expenses to give those houses away. And just as Attorney Murphy said, that when you voted on BP Capital taking those houses, the attorney was getting $5,000 per house to act in our behalf That I think we even paid that, didn't we, John? The 30,000?
That came through BP, but.
Okay. But at any rate, we thought that from going from zero and looking at the possibility of the expense of extended litigation and the possibility of them already starting and put a substantial amount of rehab in these houses, of giving those houses away for nothing and bearing the cost of the litigation.
Okay.
So we went from zero to nothing, from zero to 20,000.
Okay. For the record, do not do that, Mayor. I fought tooth and nail with yourself and Mary Kay to remove BP Capital from getting any properties in the village of Dolton. So hold on, let me finish.
But you voted for BP Capital in the beginning.
Let me
when
finish.
I said we should be giving houses away for free.
I don't think we should neither, sir. That's one thing you and I both agree on. So let's get that clear for the air. So anybody can write case and see.
You voted to
Can
accept BP Capital.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Can I finish? So Trustee Henyard said no to BP Capital and that BP Capital should give property back to the village. And all along made up programs that benefit residents. All houses should go to the residents. I've always stated that. That's why I made the block by block program. So let's get back to the facts of what I'm saying before me and you strike. What I'm saying is we should look at the properties, because right now you guys put a tab of $20,000 per house. No one has looked at it. No one has seen whatever the value is of each property. Me personally, I think we should go check the property out. We should not sit there and just say, okay, I'm gonna give you $20,000 for each house. So that's what I'm saying, Mayor. We should start there.
Well,
That's my opinion. Anybody else, any other board member can weigh in on it.
Okay, that's fine. Now, I'm going to say if you hadn't voted for BP Capital in the beginning to give them the houses for zero, we wouldn't be in this situation that we're in. When we had a developer that had offered $20,000 per house for all the vacant houses, the ones that need demoing, the ones that couldn't be rehabbed, and he was going to take all the houses, and whatever profit he made from all the houses was going to offset the demolition of the houses that needed to be demoed. But what did BP Capital do? They came in, they cherry picked, they picked the good houses and took those and sold them to speculators before they even had the titles to those houses. The speculators, the investors, they spent money, started rehabbing, thinking 100% they were going to get the houses. And then BP Capital accelerated the process of getting houses when the new board came in, because they feared the fact of the fact that their contract would be, their agreement would be canceled. And that's when you came along and said, okay, we're going to cancel BP Capital agreement when the new board came in. But all the time before the new board came in, you didn't say, hey, let's cancel BP Capital's agreement. You voted on it. And when you feared, and they feared that the agreement was going to be canceled, then you change your vote.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that part of when BP Capital, when the agreement went in first place with BP Capital, they should have took all the houses, whether they were rehabbable or not. We are still sitting here with those vacant houses that need to be demoed. And even with the $140,000 we get, we can set aside some of that money to demo those houses that can't be, that's not repairable.
Okay. Mayor, that is an untrue statement that you're making. Trustee Henyard never ever wanted you to basically just give property to your friends. That's what you wanted to do. Hold on.
To my friends,
when BP Capital came in, sir, they was initiating a program that was for the people. Now, as time went on,
why did they get all the houses for
zero?
Let me finish. Why did they get all the houses for zero?
When BP Capital came in, that's what initiated me saying yes to them. So let's clear that up. Because they said they were looking out for the people. So then after, when I saw they wasn't for the people, just like any other trustee, I said no to my vote. Hold on. I said no to my vote. And then I told, can I finish? You see, I let you talk. You just want to talk over me. Can I finish? I just want to put my statement on the record. That's it.
Everything goes on the record.
Yes, no, it's for the record. She's gonna do word for word when you say for the record. My rules. So after that, sir, that's when me, you, and Mary Kay was going back and forth with BP Capital because we no longer
Trustee,
wanted them in community.
I
from there,
beg to
hold on,
interrupt
Mary Kay,
here.
come on, y'all. Like, man, everybody.
You're
You're not
using my
gonna
name,
get it out.
trustee, and I don't understand in what
Okay,
context. I am not a
okay, well,
member
let
of the
me
board
finish
to
my
go back
statement,
and
Mary
forth with
Kay.
anybody.
Can I finish my statement, please? Thank you, guys.
Can you not invoke my name without an
It's no
explanation?
order. It's no order whatsoever. I be quiet and I let y'all talk. And then when I talk, y'all got to talk over me. What I'm saying to you guys is right now, because we study string going back and forth. What I'm saying is today, you want to offer a person $20,000 because when y'all put out stuff, I got to clear it up because y'all lie so much on people. So please stop lying on me.
Why don't you tell the
I'm
truth?
all for the
Why don't you
people. I
tell
am
the
telling the
truth?
truth. The mayor was out to get properties for himself and his
Bull,
friends.
that's not true.
It. That's all. So,
That's not true.
Trustee
That's
Henry made a
not true.
program that initiated
That's not
strictly
true.
for the people, and that was called Block by Block. So from there, the mayor had 2 years to initiate a program for housing and did nothing. Nothing.
It took
Here
you
we are,
2
2 years
years.
later.
You were in
have the
charge of
entire
the housing
board. Hold on.
committee.
You have
You
the
were in charge of
entire
the housing
board,
committee.
and you still didn't initiate not one program. Now all of a sudden, oh, let's do this. No, Mayor, no. What I'm saying is you could have went with my program. What's wrong with Block by Block? What was wrong with that? Because it didn't benefit you yourself, right? Or your people that you was trying to put on.
I
It
had
was
no
for the
people
people.
trying to put out.
We could have
Why
initiated that
did you
program
vote?
2 years.
Why did
We
you
had the
vote
entire
for
board.
BP Capital in the
Mayor,
first place to
Mayor,
give
you
them
have
houses for
2
zero?
years to
Would you
initiate a program.
would you
had
give
the
your
entire
house?
board.
Would you give your house away
It's
for
still
zero?
nothing. But I see it ain't gonna go nowhere. So I'm a rest. I'll leave it alone. Murphy, you got my suggestion as relates to the $20,000. I do not feel that we should just stop at 20,000. I think the entire body board members should go see the property before we say yes to $20,000. So that's my vote. Thanks, guys.
May I be recognized?
Go ahead, trustee.
I think the BP Capital was a hot topic. The only trustee that voted against BP Capital was Trustee House when it came about. That's the only, and everybody knew when it came about, that program was a private investor getting rich off the village. This thing's been locked up for since I've been in office, which has been 2 years. Locked up, and we didn't get no money. That means they got judicial deeds. We didn't get no water bill. We didn't get nothing from these partners, and somebody got rich. So we're at the point now where we can get $20,000 per house. I would like to at least segregate that money to put it somewhere where it's really needed and set into the general fund. But it's been 2 years, and let's get something off these properties. Since these other people, since BP Capital, they all got rich off us and off the faulty vote that the trustees voted this company in, this program in. And again, the only trustee that voted against it was Trustee House at the time. So when we came in, we changed it. But I say, let's get the money, let's segregate it, let's put it somewhere it's really needed, and let's get the money from this house. Since we haven't got nothing from it for the last 2 years, and somebody else got rich off it, let's get something off it.
Okay. It's out there. Next thing on the agenda is citizens address.
Recognized before you move on, Mayor.
Pardon me?
May I be recognized before you move on?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to make understand this clear. Either you or Murphy, one of you all stated that the other gentleman that you all were meeting with, you all don't know his name.
I don't have it in front of me right now. We met with him. I met with him about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. When we are moving forward, can probably whenever we all finna negotiate on this, can we have this man's name ahead of time, who he is, his business, so we can look into and find out who he is? I mean, you all met with him, but we don't know who he is, so we can research his history and find out who he is. Thank you.
Attorney Murphy brought up the fact he's a developer. He's done new construction in Burnham. I don't have his name. I can get the name out.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I know Attorney Murphy said he's a developer. Then we need to know, as a board member, we need to know who he is. The residents needs to know who he is. That's all I'm saying. We need to find.
That's fine. I'll make sure that happens. I actually have not met with the man yet. I've only had email exchanges with him.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is citizens address.
Hey, the first question is there any place in Dolton where the COVID-19 vaccines are being distributed?
As of yet, no.
Next question, it says, Does the village have an active zoning and planning board? And if so, who is on it? If not, how do we get this committee back again?
We do not have an active zoning board, but we can put one in place.
Okay. Next question, when is there going to be a housing committee meeting?
We will start having meetings quarterly, so it will be March.
Okay, next question. Is Amazon coming to Dolton, and is there a bus that goes to Markham?
Amazon, as of yet, is not coming to Dolton. They have started 2 new facilities that I'm aware of, one in Markham and one in Matson.
Okay. Next question says, I was disappointed that the mayor posted his political event on the village page, though he said he wouldn't. Why did he mislead the residents?
What was that question?
The question says, I was disappointed the mayor posted his political event on the village pages when he clearly said he wouldn't. Why did he mislead the residents?
I did not post any political event on the web pages. If he's talking about, or if he or she is talking about the coat drive, we've had coat drives in the past that were not around election time. It just happened to be an election this time when we're giving coats away. We haven't, not always, but I've given 2 other previous coat giveaways during the winter time.
Okay.
Well, it's political.
How it's not political.
All right, next question. When is the police committee meeting?
That police committee meeting will be Friday. I announced that earlier, but if you're just joining us, it will be Friday once we get the information to Mary Kay tomorrow. We talked with Mary Kay already.
Okay. Next question, what is the water billing cycle? How often do they or should they read the water meters?
Is Elizabeth still on?
Yes, I'm here. So depending on your water bill, what district you're in. So typically if your account starts with a 1, that would be District 1. If your account number for your water bill starts with a 2, that means you're District 2. District 3, your water bill starts with a 3. So for District 1, that would encompass January, which means that would be October, November, December's bill. And typically the bill should be read, your meter should be read around the 15th to maybe the 20th of the month if a resident is going to send in a yellow card. If a meter reader is going around, we try to have the meters read and the card submitted by the end of that month before the billing. So if you're District 1, that means your bill will come out in January. That means you should either have a card submitted or the meter reader should have read your meter by around the end of December. So it's a few days prior to the last month of your billing cycle. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. The next question is, does the village have any buyers for Melanie Fitness yet?
No, not as yet. I will have a Melanie Fitness Committee meeting coming up to give everybody an update what's going on. We're about to list it, but we do not have a buyer yet.
Okay, next question. It says, Trustee Holmes is on the news talking about fire hydrants, but why has he never held a committee meeting in 2 years to address these issues?
My meetings, I always like to combine them, but they don't want to combine from what I'm understanding. So I've been having, when they had the police community meetings, I had them then. I was giving away TVs then at the end, just bringing the community together because see, you hear the same thing over and over again, you know, at the meetings, but I'm having them separate now. So that was my decision.
Okay, the next comment says, wouldn't it be better for residents if Trustee Holmes was working towards resolutions instead of just making public complaints?
they're not public complaints. You know, I'm working, doing the best I can. And if the residents are working, doing the same thing. Now, if they're unhappy with what's going on, then that's their choice, but we have to make a change.
Okay. The next question is, I would like to know when speed bumps will be put down on Maryland and 142nd down to 143rd, because people are speeding on this block like crazy.
There will be no more speed bumps placed until beginning of spring when the asphalt companies open back up.
Okay, next question. What is being done about the excessive speeding on Lincoln Avenue between Sibley and Greenwood? And what is the status of repairs on trucks that Public Works uses?
I'm sorry, what was that?
It says, what is being done, if anything, about the excessive speeding on Lincoln Avenue between Sibley and Greenwood? And what is the status of repairs on the Public Works trucks that are being used?
Who did that?
Well, our traffic unit is out there issuing tickets every day. We've issued over 400 tickets last month for different infractions, which included speeding, stop sign violations, lane usage violations. So, you know, we work every area of the village.
Okay. And then the next question was, what is the status of repairs on the trucks that Public Works uses?
Hey, Mayor, he's talking about a street light that was down, that was hit in a car accident. We had the truck was down out of service. They had to take apart the top end of the engine. They just finished that up last week. So this week, we're going to start going back to the lights that are out and repairing the lights that need to be taken care of.
Thank you. The next question is, why were some residents notified by phone regarding the free gas giveaway and others were not? How was the call list generated?
Anybody can call to get free gas or anything from Trustee Hinyard by calling 708-963-2137.
Okay. Next question is, what is being done in Dolton about the increase in crime?
Well, our police are actively making arrests in some of the crime areas that we noted an uptick in crime. We've had added additional patrols. We placed special attention to some of the areas. So I think the police are doing a good job. They've confiscated automobiles in regards to loud music. They've confiscated automobiles and made arrests in regards to guns in cars, narcotics in cars. The police department is doing a great job in regards to policing.
All right, next question. Can the residents get a debate between the candidates before the election to get some insights on what the candidates for mayor would like to do to improve the village? And can this be done as soon as possible?
That question came up last meeting. I have no objection to debate. If we get a unbiased, organized debate, I have no problems with that.
I agree. I welcome it.
Okay. Next is, why didn't the board have input in the negotiation strategy in the BP Capital Property Settlement?
Why didn't the board have negotiation input?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they're speaking for the other members because Trustee Hinyard spoke on what she felt.
Well, in the past, there have been negotiations that were done by our attorney on other litigation. And it was brought to the board tonight. The negotiation, what came out of the negotiation, the board can accept it or they don't have to accept it.
Okay, next question. According to the FBI nationwide memo, does the village have a plan in place for the village tomorrow regarding safety of the residents during President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration?
Our police department will be on alert tomorrow. The chief has put in actions that we would take to protect the citizens and the community if there's any repercussions from the uprising, from the inauguration.
Is Trustee Henyard's block by block program still active?
I'm not sure if it was
No.
ever active. I think she recommended it. I'm not sure if it was ever active.
I can respond to that. Yes, it was active. The board voted on it. It was rolling, and then when the old board exited, they voted it back down. So then it went dormant. And it's been 2 years since the board did anything with housing. So nothing happened with any vacant properties.
That's not true, Trustee Henry.
Yes, it is true, sir. But
It's-
that's my answer to my question. Thank you.
Okay, next question. What is the balance of the water bill payments? Does the village still owe the city of Chicago?
The village does still owe the city of Chicago. I'm not sure what the balance is.
Okay. Is the Cook County Sheriff still demolishing houses in the village?
They have not demolished any housing recently in the village, because once we were the pilot program for the demolition, when I spoke with the sheriff for the demolition program, we were the pilot village. And since that time, there's been so many other towns and villages that have requested the assistance of the sheriff to demo their houses. And but we have not, the sheriff has not demoed any recently.
All right. Next question. When will the lounge on Chicago Road that burned up be demolished?
I'm in the negotiations right now with the owner, and if the village needs to proceed to make the demolition, we will actually pursue the fees for that demolition to the owner and or place a lien on the property.
Okay. Is Sonia London still over the water department?
No.
It says, why was the coat, I believe this was already answered, but why was the coat event posted and Trustee Henyard's not?
Well, our communications department posted the coat drive, and it was not a political event. It was an event that we've done in the past, and it was to help the residents.
And so was my gas giveaway. Was not a political event. It was to help Dolton residents in need, especially those going from A to B. Yours was a political event. It was at your political headquarters, Mayor. So I don't know why my fire could not go up. I asked the last board meeting and nothing was done.
All right, next question. It says, does Trustee Holmes know the difference between a committee meeting and a community meeting?
Yes, I do know the difference. And like I stated, that was my way. I wanted to do things and hold them all together. But you want them separate, I separate them. So instead of me speaking the same thing over and over again, I had it at the police community meeting. So I do know the difference. But the meeting is Friday, and thank you so much.
Next question. How long does it take from application to installation to install speed bumps?
Well, the board put a process in place in regards to requesting speed bumps. Those speed bump requests are given to the police department. They make an assessment and speed bumps are installed. Now, we've got a ton of requests for speed bumps, but we can't place speed bumps throughout the whole village. So the police department makes an assessment, and I think that includes the traffic unit going out, monitoring the situation, and then they make the decision where the speed bumps go. The Also, speed bumps cannot be put down throughout the whole year. They have to be put down when the asphalt plants open up, and they usually open up in about April.
Okay. Next question. Did Trustee Tiffany Henyard vote to allow BP Capital, an outside investor, to take over the homes in Dolton? Isn't she responsible for allowing BP to take over our Dolton homes?
Definitely not.
She did initially vote for BP Capital to take possession of the vacant homes. And later, when the new board members came in, she voted to dissolve the agreement.
Okay.
I didn't know I had a spokesperson, but I responded. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, next.
That would have been the July 17th, 2017 meeting.
Thank you.
And another spokesperson.
The next question is a follow-up request regarding the request for a mayoral debate. It said, who will coordinate the debate, and what is the schedule for a date and time?
I think the candidates should agree on who should coordinate it. And secondly, there has not been a date and time set.
Okay. Next question. Why is there a lack of communication across the board regarding returning citizens' calls and returning emails in a timely manner?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Why is there a lack of communication across the board regarding returning citizens' calls and returning emails in a timely manner?
I'm not sure how to answer that. Who are they referring to?
It doesn't say. It sounds like it sounds like, I guess they feel that calls and emails are not returned in a timely manner, and they want to know why.
I can tell you some of my calls are not returned and or immediately, or emails, because I usually get anywhere between 30 and 50 emails a day and or calls. That's my answer for myself.
Okay. The question is, it's another question about the election debate. It says, can you or someone on the board hold an election debate?
Sure we can.
Okay. Next question, who owns the burned down property that the mayor is currently speaking about?
I don't have the current, I think it's a dual ownership there. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Next question is for Trustee Holmes. It says, what trustees are on the police and fire committee?
I know trustees now. I'm thinking, I know I'm gonna ask Trustee Denton to join us Friday.
Okay. Next question, what is the process for installing guardrails in the village?
That would depend on where the guardrail needs to be installed. There's we have Cook County maintained roads, we have state maintained roads, and then roads that we maintain. So it would determine which road that is.
Okay. Next question is, does the communication department have authorization to post anything without mayoral approval?
Yes.
Okay, and then some of these questions are repeat, but I'll just read it, even though it's been answered. Why didn't the communication department post Henyard's event?
I can't answer that.
Okay. It says, can you all agree? Oh, here's another question. Can you all agree to a mayor's debate next Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., which is January 25th, 2021?
I cannot. I have another meeting to attend on next Monday.
I'm pretty sure it'd be sometime in February, guys, residents.
Okay.
I like to see it. I would like to see it during the day, where some of the seniors, well, they wouldn't attend. Will we hold it virtually, or will we hold it in a socially distanced environment?
Via Zoom. That way nobody got any reason why they can't attend. You just push the button and you're there.
Some of the residents and seniors are not familiar with the Zoom process, and don't have access to computers and or virtual access, I should say.
Okay. The next question is, looks like for Trustee Holmes, it says, the trustees for the committee are the trustees for the committees are pre-assigned. Why doesn't Trustee Holmes know that?
As I stated, I will ask Trustee Denton to join me Friday. So there'll be a police committee meeting Friday, and thank you.
Okay. Next question, who handles the communications department? Which I can answer that because it's me. My name is Giovanni Nixon. And if you look on the directory for all of the department heads in any department in the village, you'll find names, emails, and phone numbers there. I don't know if Mayor Rogers, you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay, and that is the last question.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn. I had one thing to add. Beginning next Tuesday in Village Hall at 10 a.m., from 10 a.m. to 2, we will be providing COVID testing every Tuesday and Saturday, beginning next Tuesday in the Village Hall from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Tuesday and Saturday. Now I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Denton,
Aye.
Trustee Steve,
Aye.
Trustee House,
Aye.
Trustee Brown,
Aye.
Trustee Holmes,
Aye.
and Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Thank you all for joining us. This meeting is adjourned.
8:34 p.m. Thank you, everyone.